Hello, everybody. It's Colin Ellis here. Welcome to another culture briefing for Thursday, the 10th of November. I think it's Thursday. It is Thursday, the 10th of November. Still in Manchester. Not braving it outside though. It's way too cold. Looks nice, doesn't it? It's not. It's freezing. Um, Big story in the paper today is around job cuts at Meta. It's Financial Times. Mark Zuckerberg announced overnight that there would be 11,000 redundancies, which is a lot. Now, I talked about strategy on my Culture and Coffee podcast. If you haven't listened to that, I'll post the link within this post as well. I spoke about strategy and that it's really important that senior leaders make sure that there's a sound strategy upon which you can build your culture. You need both. You need a really good strategy and you need a really good culture to support the delivery of that strategy. Anyway, I'm not going to repeat that entire podcast of today if you want to listen to it. And Mark Zuckerberg, to be fair, has come out and said he got it wrong. Strategically, he got it wrong, which is, it's what you want from your leaders. You want that accountability. And he says, I want to take accountability for these decisions and for how we got here. And essentially what he did was he looked at the last 2 years and he thought, oh, well, everything's changed. And it will do forever. So we can do this. Now, of course, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't need any advice from me. Maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe people around him is like, actually, Colin, he really does. If there's one thing he needs advice from a 53-year-old Englishman who specialises in culture. He doesn't. It's the nature of these kind of organisations, where, particularly the big private companies, where you've got an individual who's in charge. Is they get to decide what that strategic direction is, and whether or not staff agree with it, you kind of just have to go along with it. But the implications are there for staff when it doesn't quite work out, and what you want from the leadership team. So talking less about Meta and more about other organisations, is you want people to challenge each other. You want a sense of healthy conflict. You want to make sure that strategically your strategy is something you can deliver. And I often joke with leadership teams, like, your strategy's got to be believable to be achievable. Otherwise, you're all relievable. It's true. It's got to be. People have got to be like, oh yeah, that's going to happen. Oh yeah, we can get there. It's got to be a stretch, right? And obviously, in this particular instance, it wasn't. It wasn't achievable because we just didn't know. But he took a punt. He had a go. It may have panned out, but it ultimately didn't. And 11,000 people, unfortunately, are going to pay the price. Now, I want to talk about redundancies. As someone who's been made redundant, it's the nature of business. Is from time to time we don't have enough operational funding to be able to pay people, and we need to let some people go. I'm really dumbing it down right here, aren't I? I just don't want to get into a 20-minute monologue about it, but it's just the nature of the beast. The thing is if your organisation is one of them, it's just treat people humanely. It sounds obvious, right? But I mean, we saw with Twitter recently, really didn't treat people that humanely, which is another example, another company owned by one individual, pretty much do what they want. But treat people with humanity, treat people with empathy. I mean, these decisions have huge impact, not just financially, but also, particularly in the US as well, on things like visas, eligibility to stay, all of those kind of things. They call a great deal of stress, a great deal of anxiety, so all you can ask for is humanity. And the easiest way to do that is by keeping the language simple. Really, really simple. Keep it simple. Treat people in the way that you would expect to be treated. Make sure that you kind of don't drop things on them and leave them in the lurch. Don't use phrases like the company's real estate footprint will be shrunk. It might work in the Financial Times if you're given a quote, but so you're going to close offices, yeah? Is that what you're going to do? Which is exactly what we mean. So you want to treat people with humanity. You want to honour any agreements that you have with them. You want to make sure that you provide emotional support, or at least engage people who can help to provide emotional support. Deeply stressful time. You want to help people to potentially look for new work. You want to make sure that They have recommendations that they can use and take elsewhere in the hope of getting more work. Fundamentally, it's just a natural part of businesses. From time to time, people will lose their jobs for whatever reason, and all we can really ask for is a little bit of humanity, a little bit of simplicity, and then make sure people are given a leg up into their next career. Hope you enjoyed this culture briefing. See you again soon.